Warner Brothers has announced that they will simultaneously release their entire 2021 movie lineup in theaters and on HBO Max. So the day that it launches in theaters, it's also going to HBO Max. And if it's going to be like anything like Wonder Woman, then it's possible that you're not paying a rental fee, but you never know. And even if you did pay a rental fee, offering it on HBO Max already is still going to get a lot of people engaged with it, I'm sure.
I'm going to have to go and get my HBO Max subscription again. It's fuck me, man. I got pretty much no choice.
Well, you can't see it in theaters without risking COVID.
How salty is the movie theaters right now?
Bro, I told you this shit was happening. I'm
pretty sure that, I mean, the movie theaters are getting a cut of something. So they had to have worked out something, because and the only reason why this is happening, the only reason is because if they release these movies in theater, they're not going to make, I mean, you saw what happened with Tenet. I mean, Tenet still made like $350 million, but Tenet should have been almost like probably 700-800 million box office. Yeah, so they're just doing it simultaneously. I mean, what else do you do? What else? We're not going to see movies for 2 years.
This is inevitable, and all this is doing is accelerating what was likely already going to happen at some point. Movie theaters I don't think movie theaters are going to go away. They're just not going to be as numerous, and they're going to have to come up, like I said before, months ago, they're going to have to come up with ways to incentivize people to go there for the experience. Because like we were talking about with games, there are movies that you see in a theater for the experience, like Interstellar. You go there for the experience. You know, yeah, you can watch it nicely at home if you're well off enough. You've got a 70-inch TV and surround sound. It's going to look and sound pretty fucking dope. But maybe you want to go and see it in IMAX and get your shit blown off with 15,000 watts of stereo sound.
I'm telling you, man, Corona is absolutely murdering the theater industry. I mean, just fucking putting it.
Well, it's murdering any service industry that requires people to be close together inside a building.
Absolutely murdering it.
Restaurants getting fucked. Movie theaters getting fucked. Like any indoor sporting event fucked. Everyone's getting boned and they have to adapt. And it just so happens that you know, in my opinion, of all the industries that have had to adapt to what's going on right now, the movie theater industry should be up on the list of people that were already relatively prepared for something of this happening at some point. You got to imagine that whether it was a virus that was going to do it, or it was going to be competition from the outside that inevitably worked their way in to force people to want to not always go to the theater, you have to have a contingency plan.
I honestly don't think at this level was going to happen for a very, very long time. The theater industry even still, I mean, if you were to ask, I still believe that once these vaccines get out and some time goes and people start getting back to some normalcy, I think by 2022, you're not going to see this. You're not going to see HBO come out and say we're doing both simultaneously. I think ultimately what's going to happen is they need to get these out because they've spent a fuck ton of money making these movies. They can't just release them in theater because they're going to lose too much. So they're tagging it on to a streaming service so that they can get those bump up in subscriptions. And even with the bump up in subscriptions, they're still not going to make as much money. There's going to be tons of pirating that's going to be happening. People are watching it for free. And I think this is just a Band-Aid on a gash wound, but I think it's a big wake-up call. And the thing is, if this goes on for like another year, it's not going to be good for the theaters. But I believe that just because this is happening doesn't mean this is the beginning of the end per se. But if this goes on too much longer and the movie industry starts adapting their budgets, starts adapting how they film, all these different things, and they can bring the cost down, could be bad news. Could be bad news. But ultimately, when the theaters get back to full juice again, whatever theaters are left, It's just going to still make more money in the theaters than what it will at home. And I think at most, what's going to happen is that we talked about it. The theatrical window is going to get shorter. I don't think you're going to have theater and home at the same time. I think you'll get theater and then maybe 2 weeks you'll be able to watch it at home. That's the only thing I can think of. And the theaters are going to have to be compensated, or they're just not going to agree. But I mean, as time goes on, the theaters, their pull is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. The only ones that can really make it happen at this point, or put their foot down, are the major theater lines. That's pretty much it. I mean, all the small ones, if this goes on for another year, they're done. They're just going to get bought out or shut down. It's over. There's just no way. It's not making any money.
It's true. The list or partial list of these movies coming out next year that you'll be able to enjoy on HBO Max, should you have it available to you in your region and be subscribed to it, is The Matrix 4, Dune, The Suicide Squad, Tom and Jerry, Space Jam: A New Legacy, The Many Saints of Newark, which is a Sopranos prequel, In the Heights, Godzilla vs. Kong, The Little Things, which is a Denzel film, Mortal Kombat, which also got announced kind of at the same time as this, which looks to be a refresh of the movies for Mortal Kombat, is popping off, and Malignant, which is a James Wan film. Of course, there are more, but those are kind of the highlights there for that. So there you go. I mean, that's a heavy list. I mean, there's some big movies on that list. And certainly movies that are so big that some people would have probably thought that even with COVID being what it is, they would have rather have delayed these movies than have them released.
There's too much. There's too much money. There's too much money. There's like a couple $2 billion sitting right here. There's, and I just read this. They said, keep in mind, Warner Brothers considers this a 1-year experiment, which is exactly what I pretty much. These movies are made, right? They need to get these out. They just can't sit on these. You know, you can delay 6 months, a year, but then, then you've got the next line of movies that are already in production. Then what? You got to delay those again too. They need to get these out. Take an L. It's a good time to experiment. I mean, maybe something miraculous happens here and they go, holy fuck, we just made an absolute killing. Then that changes the game. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're just mitigating their losses as much as they can. And I just read that each movie will only be up for 31 days and then it'll leave the platform. So basically you have 31 days to watch.
I mean, that's a shitload of time.
Yeah, but where they get you is they don't want you just spending the money for 1 month and then, or buying a year and then getting basically all of the movies. They want to make sure that, or buying it for 1 month, right? You go, okay, I'm going to get this 1 month. They want you to they want you to have a yearly subscription of HBO, right?
Well, why wouldn't they? I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with that if you're going to get all this shit. I mean, who the fuck is going to sit there and go, all right, well, it's not worth it. We're getting all the shit that's already on HBO Max, which is arguably, as far as like quality of content, one of the highest available, and then tack on Matrix 4, Dune, Suicide Squad, Godzilla vs. Kong, Mortal Kombat, Malignant. I mean, these are some movies. And so I mean, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like that's 11. I mean, so that's like a movie a month just as it is.
Yeah. Well, because movies are already backed up, so now they're just releasing these motherfuckers. Right?
I mean, that's just easy. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Of course, HBO Max isn't available everywhere in the world. Like, for example, it isn't available, I think, in the UK.
All these movies are going to be streamable on the internet for free.
Yeah.
So as soon as they come on, the Blu-ray 4K rips. I mean,
yep.
So a ton of people that just aren't going to pay for it, right? That's always the problem with this. You can foot that bill after it's already hit the theater and you've made your shit tons of money, but there are a ton of people that are gonna be like, I ain't paying for this.
That won't be as big. Like, if they continue to do this in the future for whatever reason, that wouldn't be as big of an issue after COVID's no longer a thing. I could see more people being incentivized to pirate films because of COVID and not having the platform available to them to get it otherwise, or just not wanting to spend the money for the platform, but would have been willing to go to the theater, because otherwise it's like making the argument about like music sales and shit like that, where it pre-assumes, or it's presumptuous that the people that pirated it would have spent the money in the first place. So
Yeah, but I mean, the music industry did take an absolute dive, and it wasn't until Spotify basically came and streaming services where music is being released for people to listen to for free, where the artists started making the vast majority of the money through Spotify and concerts. I mean, iTunes sales and stuff are really only still super big for the really, really big artists. I mean, people did pirate music and pirated it bad.
well, they still do, and they still,
but not nearly as much because it's available, right?
but the money being, like you said though, like except for a handful of people,
music CD.
no, like, I don't even listen to that much music. I'm the wrong person to ask because I'm not listening anyway.
I mean, I could ask anybody on the stream right now. When was the last time you downloaded an illegal album? You just go to Spotify and type it in and listen to it. I mean, it's been like that for years. If the movies are coming out and it's movies that people want to see and that are hyped for, these big anticipated movies, and people are like, I can watch this for free? Dude, they're going to watch this for free. Shit tons of people are going to watch this for free.
Oh, sure.
And it's going to hurt their bottom line when it's in theaters and the only copies you can watch on the internet are cam rips where somebody's holding a camera in a theater. I know for me, when I really want to watch a movie and I'm like, I don't want to go to the theater, I don't have time, and I'm trying to find a rip of it on the internet to stream, if it's just a cam thing, I ain't touching it with a 10-foot pole. Some people will because they don't really care, but I mean, most people don't. You release a movie on HBO Max in 4K, that shit's getting ripped within seconds, and you can go and experience that the exact same way that the paying customers are experiencing it. And until they come up with a solution where everybody can watch it for free when they want, it's going to get pirated bad. You know where the real winners are going to be? Real winners are going to be these websites that host these movies and these shows. That their traffic is going to fucking, it's going to go up like a fucking rocket ship. I mean, people don't even torrent movies anymore. It's very rare. I mean, people that torrent movies, torrent them to like put them on like a Plex server or something. The vast majority of people that are watching movies are just going to like specific streaming websites. You just click on the movie and you can just watch it right on the site in perfect HD, and you don't have to download shit.
So I guess my question is, why is it any different than it's going to be now, other than perhaps the time frame in which people are going to do it?
Because what the thing is with the theater is, like exactly what I was saying, is before they had to go to the theater to experience it in a way that you can actually enjoy the movie. For the vast majority of people that watch it, like I said, some people will watch a shaky cam and bad audio. Most people won't. I mean, most people won't even watch a 720p version. They're like, it's a little bit too shitty for me. But when it is in theaters and at home at the same time, if they have an option to go to the theater and spend money, or they have an option to stay at home and spend money on HBO Max, or they have an option to just stream it at the same quality as the HBO Max, a ton of people are just going to stream it for free on a pirated website and not pay any money. HBO loses out on the money, either from the theater or from subscription base, which is the big hurdle that they're gonna be faced. It's the same hurdle that the music industry faced when it came to Napster and all these other downloadable things, and people could just download the albums instead of paying money. You give somebody and we're in an industry or in a time where it's 2020. I mean, most people that watch movies and stuff, they know how to do this shit now. I mean, 8 years ago, 8 years ago, getting torrents and stuff, you still kind of had to know what you're doing, and you kind of didn't feel safe doing it. Like now everybody has a working computer and everybody streams everything and everybody knows it's super fucking easy now. It's just way too easy. So yeah, that's why I still think the theaters ultimately, the big chains ultimately will survive. Man, they're in some heavy waters right now, and they need to.
It will be very fun to watch how well or how much money they can make with the revenue that they report. doing it this way all next year. We're gonna have a really good sample size because Warner Brothers, these are big movies, and Warner Brothers is one of the front runners as far as publishers go. So this will be somebody was inevitably going to take the leap. Looks like Warner Brothers is the one that's taking the leap, and other people in the industry, other publishers and major movie houses are going to be watching this super intently. They're also probably going to stick their toes in the water with a couple of their films for the same reasons you mentioned, whereby it's like, look, the films are already done, they're made, we can't sit on them for 2 years, we got to get this money going in some way, shape, or form, even if we're not recuperating cost, it's better than not getting anything. And so the trick will be in cases where they're putting it out not expecting to make very much money. If it does end up churning quite a serious profit for them, it'll be fun to see how they then make their next moves. Like, how do they navigate that? Because it was at first they weren't even considering this as an option, but if it produces pretty good results, now they have to sit back and go, okay.
There's just no way Matrix 4 is $1 billion movie anymore. It's over. You know, there's $1 billion movie if it came out in theater and there was no Corona. $1 billion.
Well, what I want to know, and what isn't listed here that I can see yet, but it would be weird to me if they didn't make you pay to watch it. You have to like have the platform HBO Max and then rent it like they did with Mulan.
Doesn't seem that's not it, because Wonder Woman is the same thing. Wonder Woman comes.
That's what I said. Yeah, but you're not paying anything. That is where I think they're fucking up. Because I mean, do I think they should charge $30 like they did with Mulan? Fuck no. That's crazy. Do I think that they should charge like $9.99 or some shit US to rent it? Yes, 100%. Because then these movies go from making them $300 million to making them $600 million or more if they're big enough titles. I mean, I don't think many people would complain about a $10 thing for seeing it the same day that it's released in the theaters or seeing it at home. I really don't think people go. Look how many people rented Mulan, and Mulan was dog shit, and they rented it for $30. So you come out with like Matrix 4 or Dune for $9.99? People fucking eat that shit up en masse, or en masse, as people make fun of me for that.
You still need your HBO subscription, right?
Yes,
and like $20 a month. And then you pay another $10.
It's $14.99 in the States, and then you get $9. Well, here it's like Disney Plus is what fucking in Canada right now?
$7.99.
Right, so you get that, and then you're with $30 for fucking Mulan. So
I didn't watch it, right?
You didn't, but a shitload of people did.
No, they didn't. It did bad. It did very, very bad. It's like historically the worst release in a major movie ever.
In terms of spending in terms of like putting a movie out for $30 and having that many people
did
show up,
shit numbers, horrible numbers.
Comparatively speaking to a theater, yes, but if you put out $9.99,
comparison to really any rental that goes out, it did dog shit, horrible, awful numbers, like not even close. It's bargain bin garbage. Like that's how bad it did.
It's probably because it was $30 to rent.
No, it's because it was a bad movie. It's behind a subscription, and it's a bad movie. It's behind a subscription, and it costs money. And I think HBO looked at what happened with Mulan, and they go, "Listen, people aren't going to want to spend both." And it's either listen, we could either charge them $20 for $30 is just way too much.
That's
$19.99, it's fine. It's okay, we can get people to rent it for $19.99, or we can just put it on our platform and have them get the platform for $19.99 or less, right? If you're in Canada, it's less, and in the States, it's less.
They're going for volume, obviously.
They want subscriptions, right? So they're trying to bump up their subscription numbers, which I think this is smart. If they would have made it for me, I'll tell you right the fuck now.
Yeah.
This I tell you, and I'm not. And I bet you I'm in the boat of the vast majority of people. If I had to pay for the HBO and I had to pay $10, $20, or $30 to rent the movie, I'm pirating that fucking movie. I'm watching it on Plex. Period. There is a 0 chance Zero. Like I'm a hardcore moviegoer. Hardcore. More than probably anybody that you know. Well, I'm the hardcore guy that will legitimately pay for it. Listen, Tenet comes out December 15th. I am fully ready to rent that movie. Devin told me the shit's on Plex and it's fucking perfect. I might be watching that shit tonight. I'm not joking you. I might just say, fuck it. I'm going to watch Tenet tonight because I want to see the movie. And guess what? It's money they missed out on. If there's no coronavirus, I would have saw that shit opening night, popcorn in my hand, and it would have been a fucking great time. But I'm telling you, if HBO tried to pull some shit where guess what? Wonder Woman's coming out on Christmas, you got to pay $10 or $20 plus the subscription. I'm telling them to go fuck themselves. I'm going to go and stream that shit online for free. Now they don't get my HBO subscription, and now they don't make the money from the movie. But since they're only asking for the HBO subscription, I am going to re-up my HBO Max, and I'm going to watch it, and thus they're going to get my my money.
And this is an interesting case because I'm not the hardcore guy, even remotely close. But I would be comfortable with, and I have HBO Max. I've had it for like fucking, or I've HBO nearly as long as it's existed. I've had it for if it's been out since 2012, I would have had it since.
Yeah, it's a Game of Thrones,
yeah,
right?
So I've had it for 8 years now, going on a decade. And I would personally,
of course,
I would be comfortable and not even think twice about it if a movie comes out at the same day it goes to theaters, and it's on HBO Max, but I got to pay $9.99 to rent it on the release date. And let's say because you're saying, for example, they're going to make it available for a month. Let's say it's a $9.99 rental. And I get it for the month. It's not a watch once and you're done, but maybe it's there, so I like it so much, I want to watch it a second time, or maybe I rent it one day and I don't have the time to watch it, I'll go back later on, whatever the fuck. I really would, I think that's personally, even as somebody who's not hardcore, I think there's a lot of value in that, because now I get to spend $10, which is less than I'd spend at the movie theater. Yeah, I'm not getting the movie theater experience, but I don't need the movie theater experience for fucking.
You already have HBO.
Yes, but I already have exactly. But it's already there, and I get that for HBO content. But I'm not. But if I'm not, HBO doesn't come with magically, normally, with The Matrix 4, Dune, The Suicide Squad, etc., etc. So HBO comes with Game of Thrones and other HBO content, but it doesn't come with this. If you're going to come and tell me, I mean, the $30 for Mulan, that was like literally egregious, beyond belief, and even if it wasn't on top of Disney's platform, I still would have told you that for watching it from home, $30 is too much to ask for a rental for a movie. But if you're at home and you're not getting the movie theater experience and you pay $9.99, even if you've got a $14.99 subscription that you're enjoying other content already on the regular within HBO, then yeah, if HBO had zero other content, so let's say HBO Max had zero other content, it wasn't Game of Thrones and the other programs that they produce on like Ballers and all that shit. Let's say that none of that shit existed, and it was just for movie platform shit where movies come out. If they were charging you $14.99 a month for just the base service, and you were renting, and you had to rent for $9.99 per movie, then yes, that would be, to me, a problem. But since you're already,
I get it.
Yes.
I'm with you. But what I'm trying to say is, not everybody already has HBO.
No,
right?
no.
Millions and millions and millions and millions of people that would love to go and watch these movies don't have HBO Max.
So from HBO's perspective, obviously this is the easiest move for them to do, is to not offer to have to also pay, because it gets more people on HBO Max. So for HBO, they make lots of money. I'm talking about this from the perspective of the producers of the movies trying to make decent money where it's not going to be in theaters because COVID is raping everyone in the butthole. That's what I'm talking about. So for HBO, it's a no-brainer.
Thanks, because I thought we were talking about.
It's a no-brainer for HBO. If HBO can go to these guys and to Warner Brothers and say, "Hey, will you give us this shit for for like, and not force us to put another rental on top. For HBO, it's a win-win-win-win-win-win-win scenario because it's basically showing for people that it's like or incredible value. But in the context of where we just talked about Tenet, that's like a $200 million budget movie without advertising that just went out and made $300 and some million, which means they might have broke even if they were lucky.
Not even.
Right? So like because you usually double the budget, so they're probably 50 to 100 million short.
They did a shit ton of advertisement, then the movie didn't come out, then they did more advertisement, movie didn't come out, then they're like, fuck, we already spent $100 million in advertisement, we should probably release this movie.
Exactly. I mean, so from that perspective, as a consumer, understanding what's going on here for these movies, you charge me $9 fucking godforsaken dollars.
Adam, the vast majority of people don't think like you, right? They're not like, oh, you know what? It's real rough times out there in Corona because everybody else is suffering. They're going, fuck you, bro. Poor fucking movie industry. Oh, fucking poor Christopher Nolan. You only made $30 million base salary on this directing of this movie. Oh man, how fucking tough. They don't give a fuck. They're going, you know what? This is free to stream on another platform. I'm going to do that 9 times out of 10.
Those people are doing that anyway. Those people that don't, I would argue. No, let me finish it before you go off like we're on fucking some weird Fox News network. Calm yourself down. I would argue that if you don't already have HBO Max and they know that they have to now spend $14 in the States or $20 in Canada to get HBO Max to watch The Matrix 4 or Dune, that they're also likely to still be the people, knowing that it's going to be available to stream on Plex in the first 24 hours, to just go to Plex and do it if that's their thing, where they're like, fuck you, it's hard times. I don't want to spend $20 to fucking do this shit, especially if it's a monthly fee.
Wrong.
Why?
It's a big assumption.
Why is that a bigger assumption than the fact that they would spend it?
I am fully willing to pay for Tenet.
Okay.
And I have Tenet available to me right now.
Okay. So just like me saying that I'm willing to pay $9.99, this is no more crazy to think that or it's no more of a crazy thing than you to say. That's what I'm saying. So like, why is it?
I'm willing to pay. Willing to pay. If Tenet was available right now,
sure,
gets my money.
Okay.
It's not available right now.
Okay.
So there is a high probability that I'm going to just stream Tenet and I'm going to see it for free.
So what makes you think that you're representative of the vast majority of people?
Because the vast majority of people, if they have an option to get something for free and the quality isn't changed, then they're going to take that, especially if they have to pay for a rental on top of a subscription based. It's just the way it is.
Yeah. So
not everybody is like.
So if you separate, so if you separate having to not, so let's like what I said. So if you're not renting on top of HBO service and you don't have HBO, and the day comes, so this is the release of The Matrix 4, and you know that your options are go to a movie theater because they're releasing it in the movie theater, or they're releasing it on HBO the same day.
Yeah.
And so you know that you either go to the movie theater and spend the money there, or you spend the money on HBO. But you also know that it's available on Plex at the same time for free. Which of those 3 options are people going to take?
I would say the far likelihood of people are going to watch it for free.
Okay.
Unless they already feel as though there's enough content on HBO that they were already on the fence type thing. Like, yeah, you know what? There are some stuff on there because people will make that decision. People will go, you know what? I haven't seen Game of Thrones yet, or hey, I really want to watch Ballers, or hey, I really want to watch this, or this. I haven't really pulled the trigger yet, and now this Wonder Woman movie is gonna, make me pull the trigger. That's my point that I'm making. Is that if they don't already have it, if HBO's hope is to get as much people as possible because they're not charging a rental fee. Yeah,
then my argument, my argument is that the people that would have likely watched it for free anyway are unlikely to. There are very few that are likely sitting there going, "Okay, this is what's going to make me not watch it on Plex." Is that I don't have to pay a rental on top of HBO. If they already have HBO, then yes, that makes sense. But if they don't, and that's HBO's hope is to pull in a bunch of people by providing these movies, then they're likely still going to end up just seeing it on Plex and not spending the $15 to $20 a month on HBO to watch it.
Yeah, I've already said this. I've already said this is why it's free. I mean, the original conversation is I don't know why they don't slap $9.99 on it. That's where all this started. Because you
No,
went into
no,
a
because
spiel about,
yes, that's why I changed. That's why I
don't
said,
know, man. You have a thing where you'd say one
no,
thing,
seriously, I'm not.
and
If you go
then
back
you
and
switch, like it's really I make a point,
yes,
and
I'm not even trying to make you wrong. I literally
don't know,
I said, okay, so assuming that if we take the rental out of it and we're just talking about HBO because that was what we want to talk about, HBO making that much money off of getting subscriptions. I'm not moving the goalpost. I'm just saying, okay, we made that point. We finished that conversation. Now we're talking about if it's not rental and it is about HBO, because your point was that you feel that HBO is providing this for free because they want to get their subscriptions, which I agreed was genius for them because it's win. Like I said, it's win, 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 win. As you remember me saying, for HBO to get this, the idea is that for me, what I'm proposing in that scenario is that I feel like it's still not going to be super effective because it's still going to be available for free on the same day for the reasons that you brought up, where because it's being streamed, it will go to Plex in the same quality immediately.
Yes.
So that's what I'm proposing here. It's just it's a side conversation from what we already finished.
I get it, but there's going to be more people that are going to pay the $20 for HBO to have the movie and the shows and everything else, opposed to if you slap the $9.99 fee on it. If you add that extra fee on there, people are going to go, well, fuck this. I'm only getting HBO for this movie right now and the possibility to watch a few shows. What HBO's doing is what you just said. Is they're trying to get their subscriptions up. They go, okay, if I put this on HBO and I get people to pay, it's going to end up like a Disney Plus thing. It's going to fail horribly. If I just put it underneath this HBO umbrella, now we have an extra selling point and we keep our current HBO customers ultra happy because they get a bunch of free movies on top of this for the next year. Everything is great. Yes, the ones that aren't interested in HBO, they're going to pirate this movie.
Yes.
That is exactly why I said the theaters are still going to survive and they're important and why this will only last a year. Because even though their uptick will happen with the subscription bases, which is great, not everybody that wants to watch the movie is going to do it for free. In fact, more people are likely going to pirate this movie than pay the $20 for the HBO thing because it is going to be free on the internet at the same quality. And your argument was, well, why would you think that they'd be more likely to do that other than to pay? And it's just because it's free and the quality isn't different. And the vast majority of people just want to watch the high quality. That's why a lot of the casuals go to the movie theaters, is because they want to watch that movie and be part of the conversation now. If they can do it for free, they're going to do it for free, even if they've got all this extra content with HBO. That's why they're going to do it. And that's why the movie still won't be as successful if they release it in theater and HBO at the same time. And it'll be even less successful if they put a paywall behind the subscription to HBO, like what Disney Plus did, and it failed horribly. If Disney Plus's Mulan made a shit ton of money at $30, $20, $10, believe you me, HBO would have made a $10 paywall behind the HBO subscription, but it did horribly, and everybody learned from it. They're like, we're not doing that. Because we've got great movies.
Yes, because when HBO sat down with Warner Brothers and Warner Brothers said, hey guys, we're looking for a streaming partner to release our shit because we have to get this shit out the door. And we can't give it to you for free. We're going to have to make a split here on whatever many views. We're going to have some sort of cut here for what's going on. We literally can't just give you these movies for free. But at the same time, like you were mentioning, we learned from Mulan, and maybe $30 on top of subscription is a terrible life choice for HBO. I don't think it's the end of the world for the movie theaters. Not $30 is a terrible life choice. That's why I said, maybe $10 would make more sense. But somebody ran the numbers, obviously, where they said if we did this for free, and free, I'm going to put free for the customer, not free for HBO. HBO is going to be paying a percentage of their monthly dues to Warner Brothers for having this content on their platform. That's how this works. And the hope for HBO is that they retain X% of the new customers they get from these movies being on HBO in the future to recoup or make more money than they would have if these movies did not exist on the platform for that year. So when HBO sits down and does that, they come up with that idea. If it was just up to the movie, if it was just up to Warner Brothers, I'm sure Warner Brothers would have loved a scenario where they could say, okay, $30 was stupid as fuck. I don't know what Disney was thinking, but maybe $5.99, $7.99, $9.99. What do you guys think about that? And honestly, that was probably part of the conversation was, is it just $30 too much, or does it have to be completely free? And HBO would have sat down and said, all right, guys, here's what we think. Let's go volume. Let's say that we just give you guys this percentage on whatever.
I personally don't even think they're getting a percentage. I think HBO is just writing a check, a massive check, to have this content streamed on their platform, just like Netflix does. Get
but that's based on their that's based on an estimate of.
HBO,
so it's
HBO is going to lose a lot of money up front.
Yes,
it's going to be what Netflix does. They burn billions of dollars a year in debt. Just burn it. They're billions of dollars in debt. Netflix don't even make money right now. They just. All they're doing is trying to get customers. That's it. And what better way to do it is to have all of Warner Brothers Pictures go out on HBO Max. I highly doubt that they're like, hey, for every sign up, you're going to get $4. I think what it is, hey, you've got this Matrix movie. Here's the budget. They know the movie companies know how much they need to recoup. They figure, okay, listen, if we only get 25% of what we normally get in theaters, that is, $150 million. We're probably going to need to make another X amount of million. And then they probably just wrote a check, depending on the movie, and they're just rolling it out. And HBO has got $1 bajillion. So they're going, you know what? Fuck it. This is going to be our way to get those subscriptions. And then we're going to blast these motherfuckers once we have them, because we finally have content that people want to watch, and not just TV shows. These are theatrical big releases. I mean, Wonder Woman is going on Christmas Day on HBO Max, and it's going to be in 4K HDR, which is insane.
It's going to be wild to see how, what the subscription for HBO does.
Oh, it's going to ramp up, and then it's up to HBO to keep these guys. And one of the selling points is we have all of Warner Brothers movies coming out, and they're going to be up for 30 days. So after 30 days, a new movie's probably going to come out like a month or two later. They'll strategically overlap it so that you can't just get rid of your subscription and then re-up it in a little bit. It'll probably come on a certain date so that you're kind of forced to keep reoccurring the subscription to see these movies. There's going to be a strategic way on how they release them, and it's going to make it. And then it's up to HBO, not only just from the movies, but then to sell the client on the shows and be like, listen, I know you're here for the movie, but you should stay for the shows. And that is where they're hedging their bets likely.
So do you think, because HBO, for me, for example, HBO was basically Game of Thrones. I have it personally because as we've discussed in the past, Bell fucked it so hard that I have it for free until I'm 90 years old. So I've got it one way or the other, but it was really only up front for years for Game of Thrones, and I'd cancel my subscription because I don't give a fuck about Ballers. I don't care about any of the other shows. I don't even know any other shows. My knowledge of HBO stops at Game of Thrones and Ballers, and that's the entire catalog. So do you think that HBO takes their check that they're getting cut for this, which I suspect is a not small sum of money, and then turns it around and says, okay, this is a really good opportunity, as we're seeing Netflix do and Amazon Prime, of curating more and more individual content for just this platform and try to produce it within a window that makes sense. They've got a year that's a free pass because of all these movies. And unless it continued for whatever reason beyond that 1 year with either Warner Brothers or somebody else, that's their window to work with. Do you think that HBO in the next year announces more than their usual schedule that we're expecting of individual content that's just for HBO Max using this money? Or do you think they're going to continue to just kind of stay their course and take the money and just say, fuck it, we got this money, this is easy?
What money? Sorry, sir. Who's getting what money?
So do you think HBO is going to take the money that they're making from this deal and spin it into following...
I think they're going to lose money. I don't think they're going to make money here. I think the amount of money that they're putting in to get all of
Oh,
these
you don't
movies,
think? Oh, you don't think HBO is gonna? You don't think
on.
HBO is gonna make their money back?
No, I think they're going to make their money back on the back end by getting those subscriptions that never would have came through and retaining those over a period of time.
Yes, that's what I mean. So, like, you would assume though that their hope is that within that 1 year is when they get their money back, because that's when the most subscriptions are going to come in.
Yeah,
because once this 1 year thing is over, I mean, that's it. Because once these movies are gone, there's no incentive anymore. So the new subscriptions happen in that 1 year window.
The shows though, and that's when HBO needs to go and
that's what I mean. So to retain them, like for me, what the fuck is on HBO? So what I'm saying is, do they now work diligently to build out a catalog so that people do stay now that they've got this year? Do you think that's what their plan is going to be?
And, you know, you got more Game of Thrones coming. I mean, this is there is a master plan here. You know, you've got a bunch of Game of Thrones spinoffs coming out. You're gonna, as this big uptick happens and as the year continues, they're gonna keep promoting these huge hit movies. People are gonna go, fuck, I didn't get on board during Wonder Woman. Shit, I didn't get on board during Tom and Jerry, but I'm sure as hell get on board for the Matrix. And then they get on there, they go, oh wow, okay, what shows are on here? Okay, Game of Thrones is on there. They've got Lovecraft Country, I hear is good. Watchmen's is on there. I'm trying to look at the Chernobyl's on there. Westworld is on there. They do have some movies. They have some shows. I think Billions is on there. At least it was. True Blood's on there. I mean, they've got some shows on there. It's not in Netflix, but there are quite a few people that watch HBO, and HBO has quality shows. It's not
that's
like
it.
Netflix.
It's not quantity, it's quality.
Yeah. Where there's a whole bunch of fuckery on Netflix that you got to sift through. HBO, if there's a show on HBO, chances are it's pretty fucking good. But this is their shot. I mean, we don't know exactly what HBO has in the pipeline. We do know Game of Thrones and stuff is coming. But it's on them to then keep a portion of those people that they paid for to get Warner Brothers movies on there. And that's where they'll make their money up. They're not going to make their money up in 1 year from the subscriptions. The subscriptions that they're going to get from the upticks, say they got 10 million, it's probably more than that, but say they got 15 million more subscriptions. And, you know, that's not going to be enough to cover how much they put in to get these movies and work this deal out with Warner Brothers. But if they can retain 6 of those over the next 2-3 years, then absolutely, if they could come up with some great shows and retain those and then have those people talk about to their friends and family, oh, you need to go and check out, you know, the show, I don't know, Room 104, whatever the fuck that is, or, you know, the new Game of Thrones is coming out. It's, you know, you need to get HBO. Then that's where they're going to make their money. It's a long-term play. It's what Netflix does.
So what do you think? Yeah. So what do you think the dollar amount was for this? Because we've talked about movies that were like one-off deals, the ones that we've had up to this point, right? And there was that. What was the one that they were hunting around for somebody? It was a Tenet that they were looking for somebody to pay $600 million.
No, that was 007.
Oh, it was 007. So, so we know what some places think a single movie is worth, and now you're looking at this list. If you just had to take a fucking guess at what they paid for that, what do you think?
I don't know. I mean, Space Jam is probably relatively cheap, and that's a movie that you know you're probably gonna. The thing is, what makes this unique is they're still coming out in theaters.
Yes, yeah,
right. So think about it. Tenet still made $350 million.
Yeah.
Right?
So it's not the same as Bond, where Bond was going to go just for streaming.
And they were buying it.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. They were owning basically the movie.
So it's not like The Matrix 4 is going to go for $600 million.
It's only 31 days, right? 31 days. And I guarantee you The Matrix 4 will then go on Blu-ray digital. They're going to sell it, right? HBO ain't going to get that money. This is a 31-day rental. They're renting the movie.
Yeah.
Matrix is still probably going to make 150 million, 200 million in theaters. And that's assuming today. I mean, in 6 months, when vaccines come out and people start venturing out a little bit more, the theaters are still going to be hurting. There's still going to be tons of people that aren't going to feel safe or just are out of the mindset of going to the theater. That just is not part of the regular routine. So, you know, by the time Dune comes out or Matrix 4 comes out, they still might be making 250 million dollars in theaters opposed to 700 million. And then say if HBO paid 100 million dollars per box office movie to have it for 31 days, that hedges off some of the costs. Then they still got Blu-ray, they still got streaming. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, this is above my pay grade. I don't really know the intricacies of the deal for one, and or there's no way in fuck HBO's giving them a percentage of subscriptions. That ain't happening. This is a play where they just wrote a check, and I bet you each check was different depending on the movie, because you're getting that, and the fact that they're bundling it all together, they probably got a deal, right?
I was going to say that. I think that they paid mostly for a handful of these, and the rest of them just came along with it. Right? I don't think, for example, that Space Jam entered the equation all that hard in terms of how much money they were paying for it.
You know, like Mortal Kombat. I mean, a lot of these movies are, 50 million, $70 million budget films that are only going to need to make $100 million, $125 million to break even.
Yeah.
When you're still releasing in theater and you're still releasing Blu-ray digital and you're only on a 31-day rental, essentially.
I think the majority of this came down to Matrix 4, Dune, The Suicide Squad, and maybe Malignant, because horror films are not that much of a budget, but they make a lot of money in theaters because they're not high budget. But James Wan obviously is proven to churn over a lot of money. Yeah. Stuff like that. And then I think they just said, all right, well, let's make a deal on that shit. Yeah, and then
it could literally be $1 billion, right? They might have paid.
I was thinking between 750 and a bill.
Well, I would say it's probably at least $1 billion. And the reason why, and it might even be more, because the thing is it's not necessarily it's not like they're buying it. They're using this as a funnel. You're basically paying to advertise, right? It's like if we had Joe Rogan on our podcast, right? And he was just going to show up once a month to be part of this, and we're like, all right, Joe, we can pay you a few $1 million or whatever, right? So pay you $1 billion to come on. We're not going to make that $1 billion back in that run 1 year, but hopefully he's going to bring in so many eyes that now our sponsorships are going up, our money on the back end's going up, we have more retention. So, people are watching us more frequently. This is an advertisement play. That's all this is.
Well, this is really like, they would sit down. Think of it this way. If HBO sat down and said, all right, what's our marketing budget this year for getting people to join HBO Max? Yeah. Nothing that they could come up with for a marketing budget or a marketing spend is going to turn over more subscriptions than this.
And
there's just nothing.
Their current content, right? So, think about this. In order for them to do what this is doing, they would need to go out and spend billions of dollars
to produce content,
producing the content, and then wait years to get there. Here, they can just pay for it, have this amazing content on there, and it's not like they've got like a grand slam of stuff here. I mean,
they've got four good movies.
They've got 4 good movies, right? You get one good movie every 3 months, right? It's not like it's month. It's not like they just got all of Marvel's movies that are coming out over the next year.
I don't think the crossover for The Matrix 4 and Tom and Jerry is all that high.
No, no. And so, the thing is they've got some bags here. They've got some good movies. But this isn't like this is really think honestly, just the press alone from this is worth its money in spades. This is unprecedented in the movie industry. Nobody does this. Nobody in the history of cinema to take this, make it for free, even though it's behind a paywall, right? To a lot of consumers, it's already free for the millions that already have HBO Max. But to have this in the comfort of your own home, I mean, it was a big deal when Disney Plus did it. This is an even bigger deal because you don't have to pay for the film. And you have 31 days to essentially watch it on the broadcast as well. That alone, I mean, just the marketing and having HBO Max in your face, the impressions on social media,
Oh, it's nuts.
The whole world is going to be watching literally on Christmas. There's going to be so many people. It's on an iconic day of movie theaters. Everybody goes to not everybody, but a lot of people go to the movies on Christmas weekend. It's just what you do. Everybody gets gift cards to go to the movie theaters to watch their favorite blockbuster. It's a tradition for many families to go to the movies. Now, Wonder Woman, of all movies, that is good for everybody, is going on HBO Max on Christmas, and you don't have to go to the theater to do it. You can have your Christmas dinner and then roll into a new tradition of watching your favorite of the movie you've been anticipating in the comfort of your own home. Oh, and if you have HBO, you get it for free. Whoa. I mean, that alone.
Again, for HBO, the value proposition is monstrous. It's just a shit show it's a shit show for Warner Brothers.
Yeah,
but
and they can afford to lose $1 billion, $2 billion. I mean, where are you going to get? You can't buy this. Apparently, you can. You can't buy this type of advertisement unless you're, I guess, HBO. then I guess you can. And the thing is it's helping both, because you know who the loser is here? Warner Brothers.
Yes,
they're the ones that are not going to make what they normally make on the movies. They are not. They are trying to mitigate a loss here, and HBO is saying, hey, we'll love to be the platform to do it. And it's the perfect platform to do it.
HBO's walking in like, oh, hey, I'll give you an out. Yeah. Come on over here.
Netflix doesn't need to do this.
No.
They don't need this, right? HBO kind of needs this. And then on the other side, and also HBO is more of a...
HBO is closer tied to the movie industry than any other streaming platform.
It speaks more of quality, right? Now when Netflix has been dumbed down so much, and there's some good stuff on Netflix. I mean, there's some great movies on Netflix.
Yeah.
Netflix original. But it seems as though HBO is going for quality. When you come to and you watch a movie here, you're getting Matrix 4. You're getting Dune. You're getting Suicide Squad. You're getting Space Jam. You're getting Godzilla. You're getting, all of these quality films. You're not getting... Leg TV's Christmas Bash #4 on Netflix, that was made for, $20 and a large pizza. That you're not getting that. And I think that adds to the prestige of HBO, because HBO has kind of always been this upper enchilada of quality. It's like it just is. And there's it's kind of like going to a nicer restaurant. Netflix is, like a little bit better than McDonald's. It's affordable. It's always ready. It's fast. There's a lot of it. This is like you got to venture out a little bit, and you're going to get a better quality product. And I think this is a good match for HBO. So anyway, big news.
So yes, technically speaking, Warner Brothers owns HBO Max as a thing. But just like anything, that doesn't necessarily mean that deals don't happen internal to the company. I mean, that's like when before they closed down Future Shop, there was a parent company that owned Best Buy and Future Shop, and they literally made them internally compete with one another. It was like one had fucking commission, the other one didn't have commission. It was who's going to get the more sale. Internal competition. People are getting. It's just because a company owns a thing doesn't mean that there isn't intercompany deals and money is still being wheeled and dealed.
100%, dude. There's two vastly different divisions. I mean, you're talking about a film producing side of things with Warner Brothers, and then you've got a streaming service on another. It's like Disney, right? Disney has Disney Plus, and then you've got the Disney that is making movies, and you have the Disney that has the theme parks, then you have the Disney that does the cruise ships. They're all different companies within an umbrella, and there's cost to these things, and all Warner Brothers is doing is they're just mitigating their losses, and they're doing it in a smart way that they can get maximum out of it. And it just so happens that it's in-house. And so, the losses are as minimal as possible, but they are taking an L here. I mean, they are losing money.
It's true. It's true.